All right, so let's talk about some of the creative project tasks that you were assigned. One is just to kind of customize the app, and that's actually really easy. You can keep your components. Maybe you might want to rename them, but you don't need to delete those. And you can just change like the picture if you want to change the character on here. So right now, it's pointing to this Android teacher picture that I uploaded. I can upload any file, so I can go to the web and find a file, and once I do that, I can just select it here, open, and all of a sudden, my app changes with a new character. Okay, and all the behavior kind of still works the same. And you'll notice my phone's kind of reloading the new thing. Okay, so there's how you customize. You could also change the canvas background, basically doing the same kind of thing, uploading a file. So getting your media, finding it, finding sounds for sound effects, it takes a lot of work. You want to be careful. Try to get media that's both you have legal access to, and of course, a very important thing about app building is making things look good. Okay, I'm not real good at that. I'm good at the programming side, but it's a very important task. Okay, I do want to talk about some programming stuff. So one thing obviously you want in the game was to keep score. Okay, and what I've set up here is a couple labels. One is just a fixed label that says score. The other one's actually the number, and I named this guy score label. Okay, so when we get to the blocks, we can see it. I've also got this new game button down here, and notice I've got this text to speech. So we're gonna have the phone talk to the player as they play. So I'm gonna go over to the blocks. And this is the blocks that if you saw the earlier video, that the basic game to get this guy randomly jumping around and to vibrate when we touch him. Okay, so now I want to talk about how do we change the score when the Android sprite is touched. Okay, and what we really want to do is we want to change this score label. Okay, so I'm going to go to score label, and there's this score label.text, and I can drag this guy out there. We know it starts off with a 0 in it. So one thing we could do is, well, let's put a 1 there. Okay, so I could go to math, and I could grab the number block um, and change it to 1. Okay, and this is fine. So I'm actually going to go to my phone, and I'm going to try to hit Justin. And I just hit it. You'll notice the score changes to 1. Okay, now the problem here is if I touch him again, every time I touch him, the score, I'm basically telling it to change it to 1. So we really don't want to change it to 1. We want to change it to what it is plus 1. Okay, so I want to set score label.text, and think of that thing as like a memory cell. Okay, and just like a spreadsheet cell, it's got a number in it. I want to change it to what it is. Okay, so let me go back to score label and grab what's called a get block. Okay, and then I'm going to type in plus. I can also go to the math drawer to get a plus, but I want a plus block. And essentially what I'm saying is I want to change score label to itself plus 1. Okay, so set score label.text to what it is already plus 1. It's a little weird, right? Because kind of the right side gets done first, right? We have to evaluate the right side. Oh, there's a 1 in there. Add 1 to it. It's going to be 2. And then change score label.text to 2. This set kind of means change. So change score label.text to what's in there. Go get what's in there plus 1. So let me go touch Justin and see if I can add some points. Okay, cool. So we've got what we want for addition. This is called incrementing. And once you get the idea, you'll use this in all kinds of different aspects. Okay, so I also want to make it so the person can win a game. Okay, so basically when the score label.text gets to, let's say, 5, let's say the game's over. Okay, to do that, I'm going to use an if statement. So I'm going to grab this if, drag it out here. And my test is going to basically be if my score label.text is equal to 5. So I'm going to type in equal, whoops, not plus, equal. And if it is equal to 5, all right, let me grab a number block and I can change it from 1 to 5. Okay, so after I've changed it, if it becomes 5, I want to do something. And what I'm going to do is just change my text to speech and tell my text to speech to speak something out. Okay, and text-to-speech gives me a little message, and I'll grab a little text block and just say something in here. You win. Okay, I don't think the exclamation mark is going to help me, but let's see. Okay, so let's see if this works. Score's now 3. Let me try to get Justin 4, 5. I don't know if you heard that, but the little Android lady said you win. Okay, so this if statement allows us to kind of make a decision or ask a question, right? And based on that question, the answer is the score 5. We can do something. If it's not 5, we don't want to do anything. Now we probably want to kind of stop him from moving when the game's over. And one thing we could do is to kind of disable this timer. So just if you go over to your clock, you'll notice there is a um, clock.enable, timer enabled, and I can set timer enabled to false. Okay, and false is over in the logic area. All right, so now when I get to 5, it'll actually make it so he stops jumping around. So the game's over. You could also put up a label with a message game over or whatever you want to do. The key thing is you need to be able to ask and find out when the game is over. Okay, finally the reset button. This is actually much simpler. Okay, let's see my button. I don't know if I named it. Let me go back to the designer and let's see what this new game button is called. Yeah, no, I didn't. So let's rename it. It's really important to name your components, and I'm going to call it reset. I could call it new game. Okay, and it's important because obviously when you get to the blocks, you want to be able to find the right button. So here's reset button, and when I click it, what do I want to happen? Well, a couple things. I want to set my score label back to 0. Okay, so I'm going to grab him, and let's just stick a 0 in there. Okay, and I also kind of want to enable my clock in case it got stopped. So let me re-enable the clock, and let's make that true. Okay, and I think that should do pretty good. Let's see what happens if I hit. Oh, I guess I reset when I change these blocks. So let me go up to let me win the game.
You win.
Okay, cool. He stopped like I wanted him to, right? Okay, now if I hit new game, that 5 should change to 0, and he should get moving again. Okay, it changed to 0, but oh, there he goes. Sorry, I'm projecting my phone up onto the screen, so I think there's a little delay. Okay, cool. So anyway, those are some of the ways you can kind of turn this into a real game. The score, the increment, is a very common thing where you want to change a value in a memory cell to 1 or 5 more than it is. Okay, and asking questions. This is a fundamental thing in programming. You need to be able to have the app ask things, and essentially it's looking at memory values and seeing what they are, and depending on what they are, do something different. And these questions, these tests can be arbitrarily complex. So if you think about artificial intelligence, it's really these kind of if statements with very complicated tests. Thank you.